Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today we are talking about jealousy. We are talking about the concept that you feel like you aren't good enough, specifically directed towards like another person or something that's happened in your life, and why it can be so detrimental to everything you're doing, to your mental health, to your progress. It can actually be the sole cause of screwing up a situation that you're worried about. And kind of how to deal with it, how to overcome it, and just generally talk about how powerful of an emotion it is. I think what I want to start with is that jealousy is an emotion that is not just distinct for humans. I have seen animals be jealous. I think we've all seen a funny cat video or a dog video or just an animal video in general where two animals are being fed or vying for the attention of their parent or whatever, and you can clearly see jealousy. And I know I've gotten in trouble in the past for like anthropomorphizing animals, but if you spend enough time around animals, you realize that they're far more complicated than we give them credit for. And I will die on that hill. I think the complexities that the animal kingdom have are really distinct. So jealousy is not just a thing that we deal with. It's a thing that I think in general throughout the history of life on this planet, we've dealt with. Basically what it is you feel threatened, intimidated, or unsure of yourself because of another situation. Maybe it's your self-doubt, it's internal. Maybe you're like, man, I'm jealous of who I could be. I'm jealous of, this idea of myself. I think more often than not, we're jealous of individuals. We're jealous of other people. Go back and listen to Dolly Parton's Jolene, and you can learn a lot about jealousy just by that. It's a beautiful song, and I think it captivates and describes the feeling that like, man, this person has just got it all. Like, how am I ever supposed to compete with someone like that? And this is Dolly Parton saying this. So clearly jealousy affects everybody. We might think of a few people who are at the top of their game, the top of their industry, whatever. They will still feel jealousy. They will feel threatened by newcomers on the block. They will feel threatened by not being able to uphold the expectations that they should have, or the expectations of their fans or the people that follow them or their family and friends. So jealousy is a pretty universal human experience. It can be incredibly devastating, as we will get into. But I think at the heart of it all, jealousy is one of those things that you just can't really get over. It's one of those things that is incredibly complicated and nuanced in so many ways. And basically it's this wall. You can think of it as this wall or this difficult hurdle to overcome. So how do you get over it? How do you deal with jealousy? How do you deal with this idea that there's always going to be someone better? There's always going to be someone prettier, younger, smarter, more charming, better fashion sense. Like, I get it. And I think one of the biggest things is to understand that everybody feels this. Like I said before, doesn't matter if you're Taylor Swift or, the Beatles, you're going to deal with jealousy and competition and rivalry. But it's not so much how those things affect you internally. Like, that's obviously a huge part of the game here. But it can also be very much centered on letting it get to you. I have seen so many situations where someone's jealousy has actually been the sole cause of why they failed. You get into a situation, maybe you meet somebody that you're really interested in, and you let your jealousy cloud your judgment, make bad decisions, make the person that you're trying to get to know feel kind of weird, kind of, we react to jealousy in a few different ways. Sometimes we can be understanding. We understand that, oh, I'm sorry that you're jealous of this situation, but you really have nothing to worry about. Sometimes you react to jealousy by getting really upset and being like, you have nothing, like, what is this? Is this a trust problem? You don't trust me? And I think more often than not, that kind of response to jealousy is like the root cause of why jealousy leads to failure. Um, because at the heart of it, if you're talking about a relationship, whether it's a friendship or something romantic, whatever it might be, feeling jealousy towards someone else kind of makes you susceptible to doubt, and not just your own doubt, but if you're trying to get a boyfriend or girlfriend and you show them that you're jealous, they don't tend to take that very well. They tend to sort of look at you and go, "Why are you jealous? You have nothing to be jealous about." But then suddenly they do, because you have made the person that you are attempting to get closer to, or, attempting to have a relationship with, you make that person feel weird. You make that person feel like they've missed something about your character and who you are as a person. And I know it could be really easy to say, like, just have confidence, just stop being jealous, be confident in yourself. But it can be so hard because we've all had experiences where we were looked over or we were passed over by, a high school football team or whatever it might have been, and it made us jealous. And once you felt jealousy for the first time in a really acute way, you can have a really hard time overcoming it in the future because you've had this past experience where you were looked over, or, somebody did come along and steal your spotlight. And you don't want that to happen again. I don't think any of us like that. I've never met someone who enjoys that whole process. It's not a fun process. It's not an enjoyable thing. And the more it happens to you, and if it's kind of a running theme in your life, that can be so hard. And it can make you hypersensitive to being jealous, being fearful of losing something that you might have or that you want to have. And all I gotta say is that jealousy is its own worst enemy. We have so many cultural ideas of jealousy. We talk about green envy. It has its own color, it has its own attitude. A lot of the stories and fairy tales and, those old wives' tales all revolve around how jealousy ends up being a hero's fatal flaw. They just can't see past this jealousy, this frustration they have in their own lives. So I think you got to be so mindful when you feel jealous. And I think the only way to really resolve jealousy is to communicate either with yourself or with the person that you're worried you're going to lose. So what I mean by that is how you communicate with yourself is you need to be really honest with yourself and say, okay, what is the situation that I'm in? Why am I feeling this way? What characteristics are making me feel jealous or insecure? And is there anything that I can do personally to resolve this? Is this something that I'm bringing up from my childhood and I'm putting into this situation? I'm placing this jealousy that doesn't actually belong here. Am I placing this in a situation where it doesn't belong? Because that can be a huge problem. Like I said, once you've felt it once, it is so incredibly difficult and complicated to get past it. And so if you're doing this to yourself, it might be a good idea just to think about it and think, why am I being jealous? Like, do I have an actual reason to be jealous? There's an evolutionary reason that we have jealousy. It's for the competition. It's for the whole survival of the fittest, whatever you want to say. But it's also deeper than that. It's cultural. It is part of how you grow up, what you experience. If you grew up with a bunch of siblings and never got stuff for yourself, like you never got your own t-shirts, it was all hand-me-downs, you might be more susceptible to jealousy than other people if you were like an only child that was just handed everything to you in life. Secondly, the idea that jealousy can come from other people. And this takes some very careful management, because it is absolutely possible for someone to make you jealous on purpose, or to try and use it against you, or to inadvertently make you feel jealous. This person might not want to make you feel jealous. That's not their intention. Their intention is to live their life and do the best they can, just like you are. And to place the idea that, make someone jealous is a real thing. It actually happens. And so in that situation, I think the two best options for that, if you feel like someone is trying to make you jealous, if you can, communicate with them. Just talk to them and be like, are you doing this on purpose? Is this something that like I'm missing? Maybe I'm interpreting it like I'm really sorry. I don't mean to interpret what you're doing or your actions or your words in this way, but I have this past baggage that, you know, comes up now and then, and I want to communicate and be open and honest with you about, is this something that's happening? And hopefully you are able to communicate that. If you aren't able to communicate that, it might be time to walk away. You know, there's that saying about you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, but you also avoid the garbage, the difficulty, the making you feel like you're not enough. And if you genuinely feel like there is someone in your life who is actively trying to make you jealous, actively trying to make you vie and play in the competition and make you compete, my best advice, and maybe this person is really special to you, but my best advice is to walk away, is to respectfully say, I'm sorry, but I don't play these games. They're not good for me. I have this past baggage with jealousy, and I don't like who I am when I'm jealous. So I'm not going to play this game. And you might be surprised at that kind of communication in this kind of situation, because you're putting the ball in their court. You're saying, hey, I'm pretty sensitive to this kind of emotional blackmail or damage or whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to play this game. You know, if you're going to try and make me jealous, I'm just going to leave. I'm going to go bye-bye. And it's a bit of a nuclear option, but sometimes it's essential. You know, at the end of the day, you have to guard your health, guard your mental state and how you feel. And you shouldn't allow someone to make you feel jealous. You shouldn't allow someone to make you feel insecure in your own relationship. That's not okay. So that's my thoughts on jealousy, on managing it, on our social relationship with it, and how your past story can really affect it. And I've met people who are not very, they're not susceptible to jealousy in the slightest. You know, I feel fortunate that I really haven't had many opportunities to feel jealous. I really, it's something that I'm not super familiar with in my own personal life, but boy, have I seen it through friends, family, the TV shows and movies we watch, the music we consume. Jealousy is a huge theme in the story of being human. So you really have to guard who you want to be, and you can't let it bring you down or change the story into something that you don't want. That's my advice for today. I hope you guys are doing amazing. I love you guys lots. Thank you for listening. And as always, I will talk to you guys tomorrow.